Michigan. But I mean, you really could see Odoms, picking up some of that slack over the next couple games. I mean, I felt like he was explosive. He's small, quick, but I mean, he's showing that he has what it takes to break away from coverage, even if it is a 4-3 setup or whatever.
It seems to be the prototypical definition of that slot receiver you're always looking for. We have to go to commercial break, but coming back, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some things that happened off the field last week. It was a great game, 2 weeks ago, including I heard that Michael Phelps showed up. Stay with us. Welcome back to Varsity Blue. Alex Prasad, Scott Wagner, and Andy Paina. Excuse me, that was not mispronunciation. That was a cold. Still bugging me. But anyway, let's talk about this. 2 weeks ago, Michigan had a very great comeback against Wisconsin. But there's also minor celebrities. Some people may have heard of him on the sidelines. Michael Phelps with his 8 gold medals showed up at the game. Caitlin Erga has more on Michael Phelps' return to the Ann Arbor area.
Today, the University of Michigan honored the men and women who represented them at the Beijing Olympic Games. And no Wolverine made more of a splash in China than the 8 gold medal winning Michael Phelps.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back in the maize and blue.
The thunderous standing ovation Phelps received at the start of Saturday's game proved he's no ordinary Wolverine. But according to the swimming sensation around A squared, he feels like just your average guy.
Oh no, honestly, it's normal. Honestly, everything has been pretty chill, pretty lucky. That's how it's been, the whole time I was here. This campus has so many high-profile athletes that they see, when they see Braylon walking on campus, they see all those people, so they're just used to it.
Michael's Michigan experience has been a pivotal part of his life, so much so, in fact, that he has commemorated it with a Block M tattoo.
I have 2 tattoos, and they're both they both have special meaning. They both have been a big part of my life. Coming here, living here for 4 years, has taught me a lot and had taught me a lot, and I'm thankful to have the experiences that I had here because they've changed my life. And the Olympic ring is the other one. Obviously, the Olympics has completely changed my life. So
Phelps has only been in the water once since Beijing, and he has filled his free time by dining with celebrities, attending award shows, and, of course, hosting Saturday Night Live.
A lot of work. I never knew there was that much work behind it, but it was awesome. I really had a lot of fun. The cast was incredible.
And even with all that, Phelps seems anxious to get back in the pool.
It feels weird. Part of my life is not with me right now. I spent 10 years, or pretty much 15 years of being in the water all the time, and now I don't do anything. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird feeling. It's something that I kind of want to have that feeling back of some kind of structured, routine.
Well, hello everybody. This is Charles Clinton with the Enemy Insider, and we have a lot to talk about as far as what the opponents of Michigan football in the Big Ten are concerned. We have the Illini talk continually singing the praises of Juice Williams. They don't even mention how awful the Michigan secondary was against Aurelius Ben. They talk mostly about how good Juice was. They don't talk much about how bad the defensive line was against the offensive line of Illinois. It's just a continual emphasis on Juice.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Charlie. That was really, that's going to be something that we add in the show every week, just recapping what the other teams' blogs are saying. And, it's always good to hear what the enemies are saying. I'm sure, and they deserve to be on cloud 9 after that, just as we were, but, as opposed to Wisconsin fans after 2 weeks ago. Let's not talk about Wisconsin. Let's not talk about this Illinois game. All right, well, we won't talk about Illinois anymore. Let's talk about the whole Big Ten picture. That's going to come up next on Varsity Blue.
Yes, hello? Hi, what does the G-spot even stand for?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
Yeah, hello? About poking. Do I poke before I message, or do I message before I poke?
Camera 2, and then go to graphic. Welcome back to Varsity Blue. Alex Prasad, Scott Wagner, Andy Baena there. And we're going to talk about the Big Ten right now. The overall picture, of course, Michigan with 1 loss in the Big Ten right now, sitting at 1-1. But let's take a look at those standings if we can. Very interesting. Not exactly what you would expect. And you have Northwestern up there. You have, of course, Ohio State, but Michigan, little brother. Michigan State, 5-1, 2-0. They're ranked now. I saw that just for the first time the other day, or yesterday. It was Michigan State ranked. But anyhow, you got Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, Northwestern as well, undefeated in the Big Ten. Minnesota, deceiving 5-1 there. Illinois, Michigan, all with 1 loss. And Wisconsin with 2 losses. 2 losses to 2 very good teams, Ohio State and Michigan. And, of course, both in the last minute of the game that they lost those games. So let's talk about that Wisconsin-OSU game, guys. Wisconsin, number 19 in the nation, just 2 weeks ago. They lost 2. Once they have a redshirt freshman come back on them in the last minute, Scott. And then last weekend, night game at Camp Randall. These things are supposed to happen at Wisconsin, but Terrell Pryor leads a last-minute touchdown drive. I know you watched it. I watched it as well. To bring Wisconsin, or Ohio State, back in the dead in that game and beat the Badgers at home. So 2 straight losses for Wisconsin. Terrell Pryor,
as I said last week, and as I said why Ohio State would win this game, Terrell Pryor can play football. I'm telling you. That last drive, he wasn't great the whole game, but he really stepped up, and he proved that he is a big-time quarterback in that final drive, especially that 11-yard touchdown run at the end of the game. That takes some serious guts as a freshman quarterback to make that read and make that run. He looked phenomenal, and I think Terrell Pryor is why they won that game, Andy.
I mean, yeah, I agree. You're going to see something here with these two teams playing, such a close game. I mean, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum as far as Big Ten standings go, which is amazing, and I think it goes to show for parity of the Big Ten in general. I mean, right now we may have Penn State on top, and I think they'll end up on top throughout the year. But I mean, after that, you have 5 or 6 teams that really could show us some major stuff throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, imagine you're Todd Beckman. Last year, you almost won a national championship with this team, and now you're the backup quarterback to 2 freshmen. Really remarkable. But let's talk about Penn State, like you were, Andy. Daryl Clark and this Penn State team. I mean, they're on a roll. I mean, they haven't played anyone besides Purdue. Now they won 20-6 last weekend. You can see some of the highlights here. And of course, Curtis Payne got knocked out in that game with an injury, 3/4 of the way through or so. But Coastal Carolina, Syracuse don't count in my book, Scott. But it's wins or wins, right? I mean, they're 6-0 and they are top of the Big Ten.
They looked great, and don't forget, Oregon State they beat, and who did Oregon State beat? Well, they beat USC. So you got to think maybe that's a big deal. But Penn State, they didn't look so great last week, but in the past with this new HD offense you're talking about, they've looked really good at times, and I really think they can win the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You saw their defensive effort against Illinois and Juice Williams shutting them down, pretty much just dominated that game. I think that was their marquee game, obviously, of the season so far, and I think it's a sign of much, much more to come.
Yeah, unfortunately, of course, Michigan. This next week they're going to play Toledo and talk about that game in a minute. But the week after, at Happy Valley. I specifically remember the last time we went to Happy Valley and beat Penn State. We own Penn State, right? That's what the saying goes. All right, well, enough about the Big Ten. Let's move on to the national picture. Let's start with a game I'm very excited about, and with Michigan football in its current state. This is probably the game I'm most excited for, looking at the whole rest of the schedule. The Red River Shootout, Texas State Fair, Texas-Oklahoma Scott, Sam Bradford, Colt McCoy. Is there anything in this game that isn't, what does this game not have?
This could be a very, very interesting game. Both teams haven't been too tested right now. Oklahoma had a decent game against TCU, who's a decent football team. Texas did play Colorado last week, who's not bad. But they haven't really been challenged too much. So this is going to be a big test for both of them. Obviously, you're looking at 2 top 5 teams in the country and such a huge rivalry with the Red River Shootout. It's going to be close. You have Colt McCoy and Sam Bradford, as you mentioned, Alex, 2 very good quarterbacks, 2 traditionally very good football teams. This can be interesting to see.
You keep talking about the Red River Shootout, and I think of country westerns, and then I hear about good old Sammy Boy and Colt McCoy, and it's great. But I mean, you see 2 teams right now. Both these teams, neither have scored under 35 points for Oklahoma, 38 for Texas.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if we'll see that kind of shootout here, because obviously the defensive effort is going to be greater on either side of the ball. But I think it's still going to be a great game, and we're going to see a lot of points scored, and it's a great defensive effort as well.
Yeah, well, an interesting statistic that I didn't realize until just when I was doing research today. Colt McCoy is the leading rusher and passer for Texas. The Texas run game may need a little improvement against the number 1 team in the nation. All right, moving on, we're going to go to Arizona State, USC. Arizona State was number 17 in the nation 3 weeks ago. They've lost 3 straight. UNLV knocked them off, and now they're going to go against USC. USC, do you think they're going to lose their focus in this game, guys? Or do you think that they got their act together after the Oregon State upset, and they're going to knock off, the Sun Devils?
I don't think it's going to be a knockoff. I think it's going to be just a domination. I don't see USC stumbling in this game as they did against Oregon State. Arizona State is not what they were built to be at the beginning of the year.
44-10 over Oregon last week, Scott. How does that team lose to Oregon State?
USC, they've had a tendency to do this. It seems like every year they have a couple games where they struggle, and they just don't seem to really be into it. 2 years ago they lost to Oregon State as well. But USC is back to being the dominant football team that beat Ohio State 35-3. It's going to be a romp on Saturday. Arizona State is not nearly as good a football team as we thought they'd be.
All right, well, we're running out of time in the show, so let's go through these last 2 games quickly. Another game that I'm very, very excited for. Number 4 LSU at number 11 Florida. Jared Lee and Andrew Hatch splitting snaps for the Tigers, Scott. And Tim Tebow looking, dare I say, human every once in a while for Florida, especially against Mississippi. Who do you think is going to take the cake in this one?
I think LSU's going to win it, but I think Tim Tebow can, if he can step up and play like the Heisman winner that he has been, he can win, but he hasn't looked that great early on. So right now, I give the edge to LSU in this game.
The racy pick is Tebow and the Florida Gators, but LSU, the whole entire bye week to prepare for this game. Les Miles, he's going to prepare his team right. So I'm going LSU.
All right, LSU, it is all the way around. I agree. For as much as Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin are a deadly duo, the blue team is what you need. And I give the coaching edge to LSU. And